Hello to everybody's. How you's doing? Hope you're doing good. Having a good evening. All that. Had an alright day. We gonna do some coding for about an hour, maybe more. It'll probably take us longer. So, this is the third dev stream, the first app, and today, ladies and manfolk, we are going to be coding up some stuff. I had been thinking about this for a while. I mean, you know, this is the code that we got. And I know it doesn't look like much right now, but each one of these are going to end up being its own little function. And there's going to be more of these for different things. And each one of these is also going to be in its own class. Excuse me, not its own class. All of these will be in a class, which we will then use to call when we want to create this. Each one of these little things, which represents an individual section, yeah. And kind of where we left off was I just got a working, thing. Like, so if I were to run this in the, oh, that's not it. Yep. If I was just to run this in the terminal, it is going to, it fires up. It's going to ask us to enter a user input for each one of these, and it's going to store it in our dictionary as a key value pair. So in essence, this is a list of keys that we want the user to enter into. And where I left off was I was going to figure out where to, or how to make these ones that are required. Like, so this here is not a string, it should be a float, and same thing with others. This one too, but I don't know exactly what that is. So my plan is to, and I already have that particular case sorted out when I was coding off stream. Hold on, let me just demonstrate this. We're gonna go Remit, or if we spell it right, 70. Say spokesman. Okay, we're gonna say 22. Round count 300. Barrel twist. Rifling direction. So we're gonna go 1 and 9, comma RH. Sight height 1.5. Hint angle. So then, as you can see, it spits us out our key, which is right here, and our value, which we entered if we could spell correctly. However, this one needs to be separated by a comma, so it has its own thing. Now, I don't know if you guys know this, but the twist rate on this is a ratio, like I put in there, that 1 to 9, which I think ends up being a float number eventually. But we will, as time goes on, we'll do better, or we will figure all that out. Anyways, so the agenda for today is to add the section inside of this code that makes it to where if these need to be floats or ints or whatever, we're going to make sure that it gets stored as that. And we're going to do that by putting it inside this for loop here. And we're going to check it, or we're going to say, like, if the key in required fields equals the length, round count, twist, sight height, and cant angle for this one in particular, then we want to do an int around this user input, and we will be putting that in a try except statement. So I know this because I'd been thinking about it the other day when I got off of here doing a gaming stream, and I said I was going to go watch a movie or just chill out before bed or whatever. I ended up only watching like 5 minutes of that, and I couldn't get it out of my stupid brain. So I started messing around on Google and asking the AI stuff for advice, like, hey, like what would I be doing if I do this? Because I couldn't quite get it, again, the fires of tutorial hell are singeing us in the ass, buzz. So we want to make sure that we're taking advantage of the things that we can take advantage of. And I know that in general people are against AI and all that, but it really is helpful, and I look at it this way, right? There are really two ways to learn, okay? First way, and the way that most people kind of learn, now, is through experience. And this means that you try, you fail, you get burned, then you repeat till you get it right? So it's like, let me touch the stove. Ow, it's hot. Oh, okay. Let me touch the stove again. Ow, it's hot. And when you're tired of that, or the pain from that has taught you enough that you can now know that the stove is hot, you have acquired wisdom through experience. And that is the best way, right? However, humans have a finite time and lifespan, and over the years, we have let people use our wisdom, right? And wisdom is, I tell you the stove is hot, and either you take my word for it, or you have to confirm it once by not believing what I told you. And then you touch it, you get singed, and you're like, ow. I was like, hey, I told you it was hot, didn't I? Don't do that again. And you're like, oh, thanks. I won't. So, me being the first iteration of that, I had to go through that multiple times to figure it out. But now you get to benefit from my experience and the wisdom that was gained from that. And that's a sort of like AI, right? You're going to want to use AI in a very smart manner, but not one that makes it like a crutch, right? So AI is trained on all the dev data at these companies and elsewhere where these companies stole the data to, right? Stack Overflow, etc. GitHub now, right? And it's giving me that wisdom. So beating my head against the wall or burning my hand happens less for me, and it'll happen less for me to learn. Additionally, we learn by doing things over and over again, right? Just like I was telling you before. So eventually the things that I will be doing will stick simply because of repetition. And I will be focusing more on building systems which, if you ask me, is, or not if you ask me, but if you go and you ask a lot of these mid-level, senior level people, it says beginners focus on stuff like this, right? How do I do this? How do I implement this into the dictionary and do these things and blah, 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 blah. And then building the system itself comes later, right? Well, doing the AI is going to allow me to not get hung up on the syntax and the order so much and more focused on the system, which in my opinion is eventually going to make me better. Now, it'll probably take more time, and I probably will be stuck in a manner like this for longer. However, if I don't use AI as a crutch and I think about what this is doing, right? Kind of like, because I wrote this come from my own brain. I did not use AI to figure this out, this portion out. If I continue, if I don't use it as a crutch, right, then I should get better. And you know, like people be like, oh, don't use it, it's not good. You're gonna be one of those vibe coders. I'm not. I'm gonna use it to ask very pointed and specific questions, so that way it can help me circumvent the beating my head against the wall, right? And not using it is going to put me at a disadvantage. And additionally, it's going to complete the speed at which this project can be completed. So if I'm not careful though, and I can end up just Control V, Control C, or Control C, Control V, and forget about all of this and move on. And then, you know, it'll end up being a crutch. But I think as time moves on, I'm going to get a lot better at building the systems themselves. Either way, the next thing that we're going to implement is this try accept block. And I think that we're gonna have to change this up a little bit, but ultimately what we're gonna be doing is move it to its own thing. So this is inside of our, let's back over the screen so it doesn't get lost. This is in our notes too, right? But I want you guys to be able to, oh yeah, you can see that it's, yep. So this is in our notes too, but I have it in a notepad over here on my other screen, so I can look at it while I'm typing. And this is just for the individual sections. Okay. So I'm going to go through here. And also I have to name this too. So that's going to be the, like, as you can see, we have how we have the structure here. We're going to have like an overall profile, and this will be like I said, we're deving it up. Okay. Get a whiteboard, blackboard. Blackboards are better. Okay. So we're gonna have us a little screen. With little tiles on it. Okay, and each one of these tiles is going to be a system. Now, I personally only have one, right? But there are many, many, many people that have multiple of these. I only do this for one of my things. because everything else is accurate and does exactly what I need it to. And it is, and so I'm using that like information from my prior time in the service, in the military, when I was using this professionally. And if I can use those sloppy systems like they had, if I can use those sloppy systems like they had there, then I am pretty dang sure that the one that I made myself, that has far better everything in it, every piece of material, everything was carefully selected, so it is far more accurate, right? Excuse me here. I sneezed really heavy. Hold on. Okay, I'm back. Hold up. Trying to do. I have my hotkey here. Okay, so I forgot where I was at. I had a big old herkin sneeze. So we're gonna redo this, and I gotta name this something else. I don't like using this particular word. And we got to come up with better naming conventions for things, because we're going to be making a class too. But anyways, so like I was saying, where you at? Here we are. So we're talking about this overall profile. So each one of these little tiles that it's going to have is going to have each individual one that you want to do, and then it's going to be a plus. So that's how we know we're going to need a class. This thing right here, it says it looks like a 5, but it's actually an S, right? Is going to be like this thing. So we have the overall profile. That's what you're going to be looking at when you first get into that. Then you're going to have a main. When you click on this, this is going to be the profile for the entire system itself. Right? And this is what we have currently on the screen in our code, is this thing. So we know that this is going to end up being a right? And then these are going to be individual something like that, right? And then all of this code is going to end up being under here. Okay. And so when you are going and selecting all of this, sorry, I keep doing this. I got so many dang windows open, it's hard to keep track. When you keep, so when you go into this, you'll click on this, and then inside of that, it will give you a breakdown of all of this information, right? And it'll list it out for you so you can look. Okay. So if so you can review all your stuff. You could even change this information, because so this thing, for example, excuse me, well, just your barrel is a perishable thing, depending on how much you use it. And a lot of people that are going to be requiring this type of stuff do eventually switch their things out. And it's like, it depends. If you're looking for like F-class accuracy, you're talking 4,000 to 5,000 rounds, and then you have to get a new one of these. Okay. But if you're doing like a hunter or something like that, that might if you're a hunter, or you're just, you go out and you go to the range every now and again, this might end up lasting you a long time, maybe even your life. But regardless, you're going to have that capability for yourself, and it's going to have all that information, all this information here, right? So you're going to be able to see all this, then all this, and all that, and all that, and all that. And then when you're inside of that profile, so it's going to have all that information, and then it's going to have at some point somewhere, I don't know where on the actual thing, it's going to have your muzzle velocities, and you're going to be able to click on that, and that's going to bring you up all of your data for that stuff. Okay. It's going to have your muzzle velocities. It's going to have your temperature. Basically, this is dope. You're going to have your humidity and your altitude. And then all that data, I know this is like looks really bad or whatever, but all that data is going to be down here, and it is going to give you this information. It's going to give you your minimum, your maximum, whatever your average is, some other things, but the main two is going to be your minimum and your main five will be your min, max, and average, and your variance and standard deviation, with your standard deviation probably being the more important number of all of those. Then when you're in this, it's going to give you a graphical representation of these, right? And these will be able to be separated into sets. So you're going to have like a, 126, 226, and so on, right? Okay. And then this is going to give you a graphical representation, so you can find your little plateaus, referred to as nodes, right? And these are your stable positions. Because remember, we talked about before how when you're doing your stuff, that your barrel is basically like a rubber pencil, and this, when it's fired, it looks like a sine wave almost, and you're trying to find the most stable position where throughout the length of this sine wave, from the time you fire to the time it exits, it is in the most stable position as humanly possible. And that overall gets you the most accurate this portion of it. Okay. So then after all of that, right, we've calculated all that, you've entered all of your data in that you need to enter in that's relevant to you. We will also have a section that someone else, like if you want something else that's in here that's not in here, you can add it. And as users use this, hopefully they'll tell me like, oh, it has this thing, it doesn't have this, thing, and I really need it for doing a calculation that's important to me or something like that. And then I can add it later on, right? And it'll have a notes section for you too, for each one of these. I don't know how to implement that just yet, but it's going to have all of that. And then at the end of that, it's going to have a ballistic calculator that will automatically enter in. It will automatically enter in all of your stuff. And it's going to give you a range card. Okay. And that range card, you saw on the last dev stream, we found that library, that ballistic library that is going to allow us to do all of these calculations. So I thought I was going to have to go find some physics library and do all the pre-calculations and name them myself and do all this stuff. But it turns out that it is already good to go. Now we've imported the library into the virtual environment here for our VS Code. So import pi, is it pi ballistics? Okay, let's look. I have a thing here pulled up. I'm gonna get a window for you. Move tab to new window. Thank you. So we have over here, nope, it's going to be in, what did I name that? First app info. There we go. Pi ballistics. Yep. So this is the library that we found, and it does everything that we need to do. We went through and took a look at everything, and it allows us to work in our preferred terms. And when we're in this, because I'm American, and even though I think that you Europeans are heathens, I will still put it in your heathen measurement system, so you can avail yourself of my fine app too. Okay? Now this thing, it said something about taking an API, and I'm worried that my worry is with that is that it's we're not gonna be able to implement that. Like, say if the power goes out, I want this to be able to be used by you. Like if you picked this up in Fallout conditions, like the show, and you find this on a Pip-Boy, I want you to be able to use it. So we're also going to have a UI, obviously, with that. That's what I was talking about. And then once you have this, it's going to give you a range card with all the stuff that you need. So it's going to give you your drop compensation, how much adjustment you need to do on your scope. While we're at it, okay, and we're going to be adding stuff as we go in, things we know we need to be doing. So that's pretty much kind of where we're at, where we're going, what's going on, if you're not familiar. And I'm going to have this here off to the side while I enter in all of this information for the individual things. First, I'm just going to use this as a placeholder, use these as placeholders, and then I'm going to change the names around I gotta think about what to call them. And yeah, so we'll get all that, and then we'll get the other things implemented, and we'll give them tries, so that way we can you know, make sure everything's working. And at the moment we're going to be doing command line stuff, like, you know, from the terminal, but eventually I would like to get like a TK enter style user interface, if anything, just to be basic, or just to have something basic, you know, something we can really use. And I looked at TK enter modern GUI, and I don't know what we're gonna end up doing, but like, I like this kind of, I don't, oh geez, come on bud, don't do this. I like this kind of user interface. I think that is more than sufficient. It doesn't need to be complicated. I would like it to be a little bit better designed, but I'm not artistic or anything like that at all. So if we got something that looked like that, I would be pretty freaking happy. Even better would be something like this. This is more like, no, you can't see that too well, but this is more like what I'm thinking. Maybe not, because we can't see it. But I don't want it to look like friggin' Windows 95, you know what I'm saying? Like, some of these are just not, they're just not, that doesn't, you know, that doesn't slap, so to speak. You know, this one, not too bad. And I am absolutely, unequivocally, I am not going to be having no light mode bullshit. I don't know, like, you guys seen some of my videos. I got beef. I got beef with people that don't have dark mode on their stuff. I think they should be flogged. If I was president for a day, oh, you'd get it. That'd be my first and only order of business. Find everybody that ain't got dark mode on their stuff as default and flog them. Flog everyone responsible. Right? So, custom TK enter. It'd be really cool if it could look look more like this. You know what I'm saying? That looks kind of like iPhone-y, if you ask me. You know, I made the shake weight, symbolism when I said that. But this would be a lot better, I think. But I know that there are. We can ask Google too, or so we don't want to go back here. Yes, several better, quote unquote. And if I was using a web-based UI, which I may end up doing, I'm just going to do JavaScript. You know, I'm going to do the HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. It's just so much easier. You know what I'm saying? And not only that, but like for implementation too. You know? So let's look up whatever this is. PyQt GUI. So I want to see what that looks like. I have not even seen. What? Really? To me that doesn't really look better. This looks okay. Can I see it like a big picture of it? Or are you gonna like make me like, that's okay. That's not bad, actually. I don't mind that. Yeah. But if you can get this out of TK Enter, that's not much of an improvement if you ask me. What's the other one? High side. Cross-platform. Autodesk. The only thing I know about Autodesk is that it's used by a bunch of scammers. That's cool. Hey, man. Oh, I hate it when they do that. Guess we'll just go this images. Images. Right, Dracula. What? Huh? Games? Oh my god, bro. Ain't nobody got time for that. Just show me the dang pictures. High side looks pretty good though. We want it to be, you know, really nice, but not. I don't need it to, I'm not going to be able to, like, I'm not going to be able to build something extremely complicated. But even this. Show me the picture, you fucking assholes. Yeah. Events, buttons, labels, dots, and whatever. Show me the picture. There we go. Something like this would be pretty dang good. I know that this is like it's a music thing, but still, something with a little color that is nice to use. That's cool. No. That's really cool. Something like that, yeah. You know what I'm saying? You smelling what I'm stepping in here? Something like this. I'm gonna exit out all that. So I'm gonna move this back over to here, and I'm gonna get to coding some stuff. Make it a little bit bigger. I don't want it to cover the chats. People get all upset that I don't talk to them, and then they do that like, oh, we're gonna waste your time. You want me to make you some stuff? It's like, no, man. How many times I gotta say it? Okay, class. Placeholder. We're gonna put you, and we're gonna tab you over so you're underneath. And my only thing too is you have to do depth. Right? Something like that. So what would we call this first thing here? I think we would have to call it This is really weird, though. Why isn't it? We need to do this here. Did I forget to add the stuff? I did. My bad. Copy all of that down to this here. Control C. Control V. Tab. Space. So I'm gonna put very I don't even know the word for it, but basically on the nose comments. And I know I need to do this. We'll make sure it's pretty good here. I'm gonna go ahead and minimize that just a tad. Do this. So we have required fields. I'm gonna put this over here, up here, and I'm gonna get my other one, that one, put it down here. So shit keeps changing, bro. Put here. Wow, why? That is irritating. What if I save it? Now you're saved right there. Don't move. So, we got the brand. We got the model. We got the profile. The length. Round count. Got the twist. And direction. And angle. Okay. We'll figure out how to do the notes thing next. And we don't need this guy. We're going to be doing the 4. So 4 field in required fields. And we're not going to name this. Stop it. Okay. Sometimes I feel like these IDEs get away. We're just going to call that plats. So 4 field in. Plat. Fields. 4 field in. And I think that needs to be over. And of course this needs to be over. And so 4 fields in required fields. And then we have to do a while, right? So while this is true, while the user input. because we're going to do it a little bit different. Enter your, because we're going to do F string. So we're going to do this here. C, Control B. That gets us that. While we're doing that, we're going to go to try statement because we need to try to save it if it can be saved as a thing. We can, or we should, or if it can be saved, not if it can be, if it is or needs to be a float or an int or whatever it is that's not a string, we need to store that as such. So try, and then we need to go if field equals, and we're gonna go length or count or site or int. Okay, so if the field that we're going to be iterating through equals any of these fields, then we must go field, and then we go equals float user input, right? And then we say else weapons black field equals user input. Great. And this moves to next if okay, and then we're going to do the except value error, and we're going to print invalid input. Please enter a we should probably put this in a F string, right? So what I need to do, and then at the end of it all, we need to print that guy. And we don't have it's flat. Yeah. inside that for now. Did that do it? What's your problem? What your problem is? Huh? So, this is obvious. We're iterating. I'm gonna do it anyways. I know it's stupid, but iterating over our list of keys. Iterating. User-defined values for predict. Right? We're going to say if the value, sorry, if the value, there's a string below, I can't even see the and I have no idea why the hell this keeps going down like that. Anyway, okay, so if the key equals the strings below, then try to change to int float, whichever. I want it as floats because these are floats. There's not going to be, like, the round count will be an int. That's fine. This will be an int. That's fine. It can be stored as a float too. It doesn't matter necessarily because it's not really going to be, right? So if the key equals the strings below, then try to change it to float or leave string. Okay. So it says the only problem, y'all are lucky I like you, because I want to do this so I can see it all at one time. We won't do that. But I'm gonna, crap. Guess we can just call it, right? It's black. Oh, that's why it's like that. Because, right? We can just call it. We're gonna go ahead. But if we do that, we're gonna have to. I don't know what I'll do. I'm gonna get it all coded out, and I'm gonna copy and paste it. I'm gonna do it below, and then I'm going to move it over to the side so I can run it again. Okay, so this says if the key equals the strings below, then change to float or leave it as a string, right? So for weapons plat, field, yeah, float user input, which is this, else leave it as user input. Break, it moves to the next field if it's successful. So if it's not, okay. Excuse me. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to copy all of that. And I'm not going to save it as any of that at all. I'm just going to copy. I'm going to paste it down below here over to the side. So Control Z. Guess we go B again. And what's our problem? Go here, here, here. Where would you be? Okay, so we're on the right one. Here, here, here. Break. Accept. Does that all work? Right? And we got it all? We sure did. Let's go ahead and do this. Get out of my existence. You don't belong here. Why are you throwing a red thingy? Because there's no that in there. And if it's in there, it's in here. It's the or. Where are you at? Can't see you. I can't see you when you don't have the color. There you are. Bam. Okay. So we set an empty dictionary called weapons plat, stands for weapons platform. List of keys for our dictionary saved to a list, which I wish that there was a way. So I have notes on my little sheet here from when I was running through this. And I wish that there was a way to just like, because this is going to take up extra space and memory. I wish that there was just a way to store all of this into here and then immediately put the stuff, you're just user inputting the values. I saw a way to do that one time, but I don't think it's going to work exactly. But this is what we're going to go through or with right now. If I find a better way to do it later on down the road, or I think of a better way to do it later on down the road, then I will do that. Mainly, I'm just interested in getting something that works at the moment, and that works all together too. So what's nice about this is we're pretty much going to be able to copy and paste this more or less, and we're going to be able to copy and paste this more or less, and then just change all the stuff, you know. So like this, the next one will be the round, and then the one after that will be the round, and then the powder, and then the primer, and some of this needs to be saved as ints and floats. And then what we can do is later on down the road, we can just reference these when we need to use them because they're already inputted. So, okay, so let's go over this. We create that empty dictionary. We have our list of keys. We start to iterate over our list of keys. And while we're iterating, we're gaining user input for the values, right? So each of these keys gets a value. Enter your, right? Then we say, try. This is if the key equals these strings. We want to try to change it to a float or leave it as a string. So if successful, if it's not, accept value error, right? So if it's not one of these and we enter a number, we should get a value error that says invalid input, please enter a numeric value for field. Now the little AI thing that I had didn't add this function, but I did. So that way, if it says like we're on this field, it should say, please enter a numeric value for whatever, round count, site height, can't angle, whatever. So cross your fingers, cross your toes, dot the I's and cross the T's. We're gonna go brand. We're gonna say savage, which is what we are. Invalid input, please enter a numeric value for brand. We're gonna say savage again, and see we're already running into a problem. We're gonna control C. We got out of that, so we are going to remove this because we probably are the reason why this is messing up. So this brand, why is it giving me an invalid? I gotta debug it. So why is it giving me this? I do this is so User input. Same. Hold on. Copy. I'm going to say paste, and I'm going to say, no, don't. Okay. That. Say what I might do. I'm over here looking at this AI stuff, trying to convert how do I this throws a value error for non-numeric values. How to include see if that gets it. You can store them in a separate list and check if the current field is in that list. Okay, I could do that too. Then I have two lists, you know, and can I just put this in a list right here, you know, and then take the ors out of it and add you know? Because I know I could just switch the, let's try this. Oh my goodness. I done did it, folks. Maybe. Model 70. full. 22. 400. 1, 9. RH. 1.5. Can't angle. 0. Okay. So after it does that, I need it to print, or I need to just call. Never mind. I need it to print. Okay. Make sure it's storing and using all the values correctly. So my next step, if that didn't work, what I was going to do is put it in parentheses like this and then make it a list. Which I'm glad that, I mean, it's the same thing. I don't want to create multiples of these because it's going to all be stored in memory. I'm sure that there is a more efficient way to do this. You know what I'm saying? That's another thing too. I want this to run on a frickin' potato. It's gotta, you know. Do it on a Raspberry Pi or some such, you know. Smelling what I'm stepping in here. Let's go. That. Brand. And 700. Profile. Horseman. Blank. 24. Round count. 400. 1 and 10. Right, and 1.5 0. Here. And let's say I gotta figure out which B. So for key and value in weapons items, print key, then the value, and then the type. So we're gonna get rid of that. See if that works. Because I want to know, I want to make sure that this is being put into the correct thing. The reason why is because I want to be able to pull these individual values out and assign them to the respective fields that I need to have them in. You know what I'm saying? You smelling what I'm stepping in? I hope so. So we're gonna go through this whole spiel again. we're going to say laser beam. We're going to say model, space type, profile, depth, length, 1,000, count 1, because that's the only time we had to use it. Twist, none, direction, front, forward, enemy. Don't laugh at my spelling. 1.1. Can't angle. 90. Okay. So you see what I'm saying? It was all for naught because we have it saving it all as a string. Type, string, value, string. See, this should be a float or an int. This should be a float or an int. You know what I'm saying? So why it not do that for me when I told it to do that? Huh? 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 Why aren't you working correctly? Okay, got you. The only thing I can say is to store it. Control C. We'll store this in another one. We will say numeric. We'll say that. And then we'll say for field. In numeric fields. If that equals float, or sorry, that equals float, else, and then we so it should, then this should break the while loop once valid input is received, right? Yeah. Okay. And then so then we do want F string down here. F for field. We'll see what that do. And we're going to comment that. We're gonna print. Save. We gonna run it. My brand is Oscar. Model. M-E-Y-E-R. Hot dog. Length. Manny. It should throw us an error. It didn't throw us an error. Count. NGT length. See, it gave us that one. Is it because? Is it because I spelled it wrong? So we'll go 12 of them. Nah, we're a solid 7. Right, twist. Yes, please. Okay, direction. Give me that Indian burn. Go. All right, so we're gonna get the all. Scope, adjust, sight. So we have some problems in here. We're just gonna say 1.5 because can't angle. We're gonna go no. All right, we need a 0. So it threw errors for the stuff that we didn't mess up and spell wrong. This is called this is debugging. Okay. Brand, B-R-A-N-D. Barrel profile. No, we don't. Barrel length, B-A-R-R-E-L. Round count. Sight height. Can't angle. So now that we have properly spelled the thingies, we can do this again. Okay, we're gonna say Winchester model 70 profile bull length 20. Please input a valid numerical for barrel length. Yeah, I feel all the powerful. I feel smart. Okay, round count 8. Barrel twist. Yes. Direction right hand. Scope adjust. Mils. So I have 1.5. Can't angle 0. Okay, so we are going to do that again, and now you can see that it is storing our stuff as floats for the things that we need to do. Oh my gosh, I'm so happy that I figured it out. That's nice. It took me a minute. Because here's the thing, most, like, this is pretty much all like programmatically is the same for all of these things. I just got to change the names around and everything, right? Which is gonna be difficult in and of itself. Oh man. So we have proper dev streaming now. We are in it. We done did it. We are the smartest man alive until the next bug that we run into, and then we're gonna feel dumb again. Oh. So, which the next bug is going to be when we put it into this class, right? And we're trying to create another class, and then we do all the things wrong. Oh my gosh. I foresee that we will become a magnificent coder, right? I feel it in my bones. The force is speaking to me. Like, yeah. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna do here. We're gonna uncomment that out, and we're gonna do this again. We're gonna run through it. We're gonna run through it, you know, take it seriously. Is it 1 and 7? No. That's a 1 and 12. Right hand. Scope adjust. Side height 5. Can't angle 0. Okay. So it printed us all that out. We got a float on the length, round count, sight height, and type. Excellent. Outstanding. That is awesome. I feel so much better. Now I am going to do the same thing here that I did here. Go Control C, and I am going to delete that, and I'm going to do this. Make it not like this anymore. Excuse me. So we ought to do this too, right? So now we have that. We're going to do this, and we're going to save it. I'm going to come over here and I'm going to make a okay. And this is where I am going to enter in empty ones of these. So we're going to go section. Section. We'll leave that. We'll leave that. We'll leave that. Numeric fields. So all that should be the same because we're going to save that all in it. So they should be local variables. So we should not have a user input. It is that, and we need to make this be empty and this be empty. So I'm saving this as a template. So that way, when the time comes, I can copy and paste this into each one of my deals here. Right? So we have one for this section here, which I don't know why it did that to us, but we're gonna, excuse me, all this needs to go under here. No, needs to go. Are you there? Needs to go here. Okay. Yeah. Yes. So. Got this here. I don't even know if we need this. I'm gonna actually ask that. And I'm gonna save this as first app info. And we're gonna save bookmarks. Yeah, that's fine. First app info. And I am going to go here and I'm going to name this first. AI contact. So I can save it. Is that it? Okay. And while I am here, let's save this. And minimize. That there. Control S that. So we have that for later. We're going to open a new one. Get rid of this. Very nice. Okay. See people? I tell you what, like, I might not be good. You know, I might like suck and everything and be new. But you know what? You know what I notice? I'm starting to talk more. Sorry, talk less in my dev streams. And I'm starting to get producible code here. Now, this may not seem like very advanced or crazy code, but I tell you what, if you would have given me the code I just typed right now out and got to working and debugged, that's the important thing. I was debugging this. I was going, okay, it's throwing me invalid errors before I want it to throw me that. The way that I did didn't work. I'm smelling things wrong. What's going on here, right? So we have this rifle system, right? And we're going to call this, we're not going to call this rifle system. We're going to call this button platform. Okay. So now we can take this thing that we made, get this off the screen or off your screen so I'm the only one who gets to look at it. I only show you from time to time. So now we're going to do the same thing, but we're going to come over here to our proving. Why is there a 5 problems in the file? Is it because we don't have section and we have section? So have that. So we took the problems out of the clone. No, we didn't. There's still a few more. And we're gonna go section. And we have here down here too. Section. And one more section. All thinking. There. Is there no more? Where is it? Where's your problem? Show me. Oh, it's just a marker. So there's no more errors, it says. Okay? No more errors. That's ideal. And we don't want to deal with this just now. I mean, that's just we're only going to be copying this. Oh, wow. Okay. So very nice. Very nice. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. I'm back. So, so far so good. Bring up this again. So, what do we need more with this? This guy here. Zoom in just a little bit. I gotta see. I'm looking at my notes here. I'm trying to, because this here, we added in the last bit. Side height. Say. I'm gonna go ahead and we're gonna add we're gonna go ahead and so we're gonna do brand. What's nice about putting this potentially in an interface is that we're going to be able to have these in drop down menus too. So when we choose brand, we could have a list of brands or whatever. Oh, excuse me. Barrel, round, twist, rifling direction, and we're gonna put, want it to be organized, so put this here. Not that much space. Control C. Control V. Because I don't want it to be long drawn out. Where's that little thing where it shows you like the should be this long? Firearm brand, model, barrel profile, length, count. And we're gonna go here. And we're gonna say So I want that actually. I want this grouped together. Okay. So if we do this, Control C, and we exit out of that, or get that out of there, and then we have all that grouped together. Then we go Control B, right? And we will put these two, put those up there. Control C, Control V. Okay, that's better. I want it in line. So it's like organized, right? We're not going to call it scopage. We're going to call it op. And then when I do the, I think when I do the user interface, I'll have like a little, you know, like a little eye for information next to these when you can select them, and then when you hit that, it'll say, it'll ask you what, you know, or tell you what it is, right? So it'll say, for example, you know, Savage, Remington, Winchester, whatever. Enter your model, you know, model 70, model 110, model 700, whatever, you know, M590A, barrel profile, length, round count. I'm gonna put this one, Control C. Put this one here. Put this one here. Control C. Control V. Okay. Why is it in red? What's red? Pass. This one? That's what I need to ask. Okay, so we don't need this. We're gonna leave this as So that's why we put the pass there. So I genuinely don't know. You don't need one, but I don't know if we will, because there's going to be other stuff that we're going to be doing. Like, for example, if we have to use this in relation to the TK enter or the GUI, then we might like legit be initializing that to set these things here into those spots. Now, I don't think that that's the case. All right, what's your problem? The Fuchs your problem here, huh? What? Tell me, come on. Was not closed. What do you mean it's not closed? Oh, that's why. What you mean, huh? Huh? How about that? Did that get rid of you? If I get rid of the double, does that do it? Yeah? Shut the hell up with your red squiggly horse shit. Get it out of here. It bows to the squiggles. Okay. Okay. Yes, sir. I think we have a working, or the start of a working thing. And I tell you what, 'tis 8:30. And tomorrow is pull of push legs pull day. But I think I'm still gonna have a drink or two. And whilst I do that, I think I'm gonna be playing some games. So I'm gonna shut this stream off. I'm gonna readjust the stream things, and then I'm gonna get back on here, and I am going to we'll do a game stream while, you know, just chilling out. And I think that this is a very, very good place to stop. If you recall, when we first got on here, we didn't have this defined as anything. We just had our empty list. We had a set of required fields, and we iterated over it and got the user input. We have now added the loop that determines whether or not these values up here need to be numeric values, and if they are. Also, I can foresee that these lists grow as time goes on, as I recall better what things to enter into these. Like oh geez, I was just thinking about it right when I was talking about it. That's why I brought it up. And the reason why is because if we define that and it gets saved into this, we can call this and pull out these values, these key in values, and use them later on in the program. And that's what I'm trying to do. So that way, I just closed it. Let me reopen it. I wonder if it'll. Let me reopen. Desktop. One app. LRPS. Okay. So as we get to making this, I want these values and these fields, these keys and these values, which are getting stored here. I want them to be able to be pulled out and utilized for these various things. Okay. And then while I'm thinking about it too, this is going to need a date And we're going to need accommodate. What? You ain't even got no. It's like, well, if you're gonna tell me it's wrong, you need to give me a suggestion as to how to fix it, all right? Be playing them games with me. I'll give you a 1-2 judo chop. Okay, Bruce Lee style. All right, we're gonna need to loop over these values in order to accommodate user input. No. Let's see. We're gonna go. And it's easy. Oh man, I'm not complicating things in my head. I'm like trying to add stuff to the correct thing. So like for this, right, you're gonna need a muzzle velocity, temp, and humidity for every shot. You're also gonna need a wind speed and wind direction, right? The altitude is gonna stay the same for where you're at, specifically gathering this, right? But these things that change, and so like same as the date and the time of day, you can either do of test or each shot. So basically we're going to have a list of things that this saves. It's going to save like all of this information in, I would imagine that a set would probably be more ideal for this, right? But they're all going to have to correspond, right? We'll figure that out when we get to it. We're not even down to 2B yet, which is the next thing that we're going to do. Yeah. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be real good. We have this going. Hell yeah. I liked that last track. Can't remember which one it is. I'll have to go into the playlist and see which one. That was a good song. We're gonna add this here. A little different, right? Okay, that good. Okay, and we have our like little testing grounds, right? So now everywhere where it says section, change to the corresponding name for the given section. Okay. So then tomorrow, all we should have to do is change or copy and paste this into each subsequent function that corresponds to these things here. Add the data to the keys, add the data to the numeric fields that I want to be numeric, and then change the individual things, and then it should work all as intended. And then I gotta figure out how to, once I get all of that done, what am I gonna do next? I don't know. So after that, then I'm gonna work on this and figure out how to, I will probably make this its own class too, so it can be repeated over and over again in a manner which people can do, which is going to be pretty damn similar to this. The only difference is that this is going to be stored. I want this stored in an individual list for itself for each time that somebody does it. But I also want these values to be able to go along with it, right? And then like some of this, like so wind direction, some people might not care about this degree of accuracy. You know, I know that's the unit of measurement in it, but like other people use like full value, half value, 3/4 value, whatever, you know. And then there's some people too that they don't even do that. They just do muzzle velocity, wind speed, and direction, and you know, and there's like degrees, there's values, and there's o'clock, right? So the reason why the degrees is so much dang better, is because degrees is better because it gives you more degrees of freedom. So if you have this, right, your degrees is 360 of these. Now there's like 12, 3, 6, and 9, and then there's like 2 in between this. Okay, in between each of these. And so this is like the quick version of this, and this, so this is 0, this is 0, this is 1, this is 1, this is 0, and then these are weighted. It's like 0.2, 0.5 or something. There's like I can't remember, I have it written down, but there's like a thing for that. And then so you just calculate the effect of it on the flight of your thing, right? So if you're like this and you're firing in this direction and the wind is blowing straight across you, that's like 1, right? That's gonna give you like the full amount. So if your drop says at 10 miles per hour, you need to have a 0.5 adjustment, right? Then that's what that means. But then there's like a point, half of that would be a 0.25, and then a quarter of that would be like 0.12 or something like that, right? And then for each one of these, I can't remember what it is. I'll be putting that specifically in where we need it when the time comes, but not right at the moment. Anyway, when I'm looking through these things, I'm thinking about all the stuff that I forgot. And there's things here that I'm not adding because they're not important to me. I was just thinking specifically, see, we don't need this because the library does it for us. We're gonna leave it in there. So. And then there's things like, I don't know. I think we're just going to stop there. This is a really good spot to stop. We fixed this, got it knocked out. We have a blank. So now when we come in tomorrow, we're basically going to make a new function and copy and paste this blank in there. Hold on, I'll probably... Z. Tab. Come on, stop it. Tab. Tab. Excellent. Why are you all up in my business? Is it because you gotta go back here? Yes, sir. Now does that make everything else? Does that mean I can do this? Here, 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 here. Here's one. See. I'm just trying to get all this lined up. Correct and good to go. How about that? Where's the errors? Section. Okay. Tab that over. Tab that over. Tab that over. And now we have a blank. We have a blank thing that we can plug and play right where we need it. Straight from the horse's mouth. Fresh squeezed from the chicken. That's right. Like we want. So tomorrow, not this week, or started this week, but the week before last I wasn't doing, I was doing like full 3 hours of hacking every day, and then only 3 of the days I was Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday I was streaming those days, and then the others I was not. And the reason mainly for that is because I'm on proprietary coursework or areas where they don't allow you to do that. So what I did was I switched to where on Tuesday I have one dev stream that I stream, and then on Friday I have the dev like when I don't stream. And my thinking on that was that I would get a lot more done not yapping or being in, but this is going just fine, you know? And so what I'm going to do is tomorrow I will also have a dev stream. So we'll start working our way into streaming every day eventually. especially when I get off of, I mean, I don't think I'm ever going to get off of it. What are you doing? Restart. Okay. I don't think I'm going to not be on that, but I'm going to, as time goes on, I'm going to reduce the educational BS that I'm doing, kind of like I was in the middle of taking a tutorial for Pygame. There's no point in me doing that. I've been over tutorials left, right, up, down, all around. I have a familiarity with the syntax. I can figure this stuff out. I need to build something. I need to hack something, right? And so right now, I want to prioritize studying for my certifications for the hacking, because that's going to help lead to employment later on down the road. Because if you don't know this about me, the whole reason I'm doing this is to retrain myself. I got hurt doing what I used to do. I can no longer do it. Like, not like, ow, it hurts. Like, oh my God, I'm in the hospital and I might end up with paralyzed, you know, from the shoulders down in my arms type thing. So I have to do this. So unfortunately. So now, yeah, so that's what I'm doing. And I've been trying to go for this certification that I'm studying for now for around like nine months, not including the 4-month break that I took, right? So you're talking like over a year in time, straight time, I've been like studying this. But I took a 4-month break, but I did for like 9 months straight. And when I say 9 months, I mean I went from zero, no nothing, to being able to do the labs and do this stuff in the real world. And I do bug bounty on the side. So as I get these certifications, I'm going to switch to doing bug bounty more. Obviously I can't live stream that, but when I'm doing this, instead of playing video games at night all the time, like right now, it's like 8:51, it's about to be 9. I'm like a 10:30 to like midnight kind of guy for sleep. So I'll play some games now, but I'd like to do more of this, whether it be Try Hack Me or Juice Shop or practice report writing or whatever. But at the same time, I do not want to get burnt out. I've done that before too, and it's not fun. So this is where we are. It's real nice. We started out, we just had this empty dictionary with these required fields, and we had this for loop and this user input. And then we have since added the numeric fields for the things that we want to be turned into floats, or in other cases will be ints. And we added this while loop and this try except statement with this if statement inside of it to make sure that the fields that we're requiring, if they require to be floats and they're in this numeric list, that they get put, that they get the proper data type for later on, so we don't have to think about converting it when we're putting it into the place that we need, that we will need eventually. So instead of having, you know, it's just going to make the code a little bit more cleaner toward the back end. We ran into some bugs with the user input and the float and figured all that out. We found a for loop, we printed it out, and we found a for loop that confirmed that the type of our values inside of our newly created dictionary are the correct value type that we want. All that and more was done today. We have a class placeholder I don't know what to call this just yet, so that's what I'm going to call it. Again, I don't know if we're going to need this init function. I would imagine at some point we will, but I don't know when that will be or what for. If not, it's got to pass here so it can just sit there. If not, I'll delete this sucker after. Okay? Because the thing is that this class we're making the class to consist of all of this because of our, let me bring it back up again. Our class is going to consist of the main profile for our platform, which includes the weapon platform itself, the round that includes, this should actually be a subheading of this round, the powder, the primer, and the brass, and the round, you know, I mean that by projectile. Okay, so all that together is going to equal this class, and we want that class to be able to be recreated and have that information entered. And then once we have all that done, then the user will be able to have the user do with that what they want. And then the next thing we're going to work on is getting this this thing done up, and it will probably be its own class as well, because this will also need to be recreated for the various things that we're doing. And these values as well will be things that we're also going to need to check to see if they are numeric values or strings. And well, this, and this, in most cases, actually nearly all of these except for this one in most cases, will be a numerical value, which will make it a lot simpler. And then after we get all of that implemented and we have all of that working and we have all of that doing what it needs to do, we need to do this, which most, I think all of these top ones, the min, max, average, mean, median, and mode, I think all of that is included in the Python standard library. And this variance and this standard deviation, we will have to import a statistics library. I can't remember what it's called, right? Then we will be using matplotlib for a graphical representation of this information. If I can figure out So if I can figure it out, I want it graph to automatically point out those nodes like we were talking about to the user. And then after that, we're going to have to do the most complicated portion of this, which even though we did find a library, I'm going to have to learn how to use that library. So I'm going to have to use that library, and and that's why I'm doing this the way that I am, why I'm doing these all the way that I am, so that way this information that this thing needs to take can be referenced to, so that way it's already done up. I just have to link what I've already programmed into what the library is asking for using these values and keys and inputs and whatever. And then what that's going to do is it's going to give us the drop information, the windage, all the stuff that we need. And then we're going to have it spit out range cards with range cards, which coincidentally the ballistic library that we did find for Python will also do that. My only worry is that the API it's made on or from is cannot be local. So I know I can fork it, and I would appreciate if I can not have to rely on their online API every time somebody wants this, right? So okay. Okay. So, and then, so once we have all of that, we're going to be confirming it that it works along the way. Make sure it's got all the information, make sure it's spitting us out the right information, make sure it's we got this graph going, the ballistic calculations are right. Again, I have tons of my own data that I'm going to be putting in alongside this, like running the app, to ensure that these calculations are coming out correctly. Okay, and I have enough data over enough days and enough of temps and humidities, not the altitude. I pretty much shoot it at the same spot, different wind speeds, direction, all this. I even have different these so it will be able I will be able to check this against the data that I already have, run it in the manner that I'm already doing, and I'll know whether or not I'm implementing it correctly. And then once all of that is said and done, I want it to be in a user interface. Additionally, I want all of this stuff to be able to, where did I put that? I put it up here. So I want you to be able to save these with like pictures if you want. Here's what I did. I put it up at the top. I also want this to be able to export your data that you enter into JSON format, XLS, and CSV. That's also going to be, I mean, I know that that's like relatively straightforward, but I just don't know how to do it yet. But when we get to that point, or when we get that, that's going to be really useful. So if people have other things and other ways that they want to manipulate, use their data however they want to do, or just simply store that, they will have that ability. Okay? So that's what I'm doing. All right. I am going to get off here, and I am going to take a break for a sec. And then I'm going to come back and we're going to do another stream. That'll be 3 streams today. You will have gotten all that this channel, nearly all that this channel has to offer. Hello, Ironclaw. Thanks for the follow. I appreciate you. All right. So you will today, you will have gotten a hacking stream, a dev stream, and next is a video game stream. So we are gonna do it all, people. It's only a matter of time. So thank you for watching. I am making a ballistic calculator app. Let me inform you, man. I'm so happy you're here. I get to tell someone what I'm doing. So we're making an app that stores user-supplied reloading data, user-supplied ballistics data, and we're going to be using that for ballistic calculations. And we're going to be giving the user a range card. It's going to have a GUI on it, and it's going to have the capability of exporting data into these formats too. And the reason why we're making this is because I have to take myself right now. There are programs that are out there that can do this, but they're like janky and all that. And I want to make an app that I can do all of this in one stop. So right here, we just created the function for this thing that accounts for all of this information, minus the letting people add their own information. Yeah, it should be. Why wouldn't it be? So, okay, so let me preface this. All of the ballistic calculations, unless you're using someone's proprietary software, and by someone, I mean specifically, let me pull them up. Let me get go back. Move tab to new window. So unless you are going to, so these guys here, unless you're using these guys' app, then everything else that everybody else uses on the face of the planet has a plus or minus 10% accuracy rating with the data. The reason why, as you can see here, as it's showing, these guys use scientific equipment to track this. I used to do this. I worked for a defense contractor that basically did this for all DoD munitions contracts. It was a third party, and I performed this testing in order to make sure that all the stuff that they were making for our military, so our guys would have good stuff, and we would make sure that it was all up to snuff. And so the government and the defense contractors that made those munitions would come to us as an independent third party, and we would give them ANSI certifications and test their stuff to make sure it was up to the DCMA contracts. So everything else besides that guy there, I'm sure there's a couple other people on the planet that do it too, but everything else has like a plus or minus 10%. Because so when you put this in here, you put all your data in there, you're gonna have to go out and confirm it for yourself anyway. However, once you do, it won't be off by very much. I know, because I've used it myself. I'm basically just combining all of the things that I currently use on my own to get this data into one app. So, and part of the reason I'm doing this is because I'm new to coding, and I'm at the tutorial hell, like it's still singeing me in the ass right? So what I'm doing is I'm making a project so I can, learn and grow and all that. So what you missed is that we have all this here, and we need one for each of these little sections. My first couple dev streams, I was going through all this and working all this out. And then I was really worried that I was going to have to calculate all this using some physics calculator, but they have ballistics ones. And we're going to be using them. So now when you mean safe to use, I would not hand this to somebody that's operating in the military and say, yeah, go ahead, you're fine. Or even a police. I wouldn't do that. But I would hand it to them and say, go train with it and confirm your stuff. And it will be plus or minus 10%. And the only way that you're going to be able to figure out where or how or what is to basically confirm that for yourself, which I do anyways. So yeah, now I could and breathe, right? Thanks for letting me nerd out, man. Thanks for being here. I was literally just getting ready to get off. I'm still gonna get off here. I'm gonna take like 5-10 minutes, probably not even that, and then I'm gonna get back on and we're gonna do a gaming stream. So today I did a try hack me, so I did some hacking. I've done some coding, so I did a dev stream. Now we're gonna do a video game stream. That's what this channel is about. So those 3 topics in that order. Yeah. So thanks for being here. I appreciate you. It was good talking with you. Stop on by anytime you like. Yeah, I need friends, man. I need friends. How about you? All right. Thank you, guys. This is Hakakura. I'll be back.